Thank you for choosing Westinghouse. This brief tutorial will cover the installation of your new waste disposer. This waste disposer is pre-wired with an electrical cord. It is intended to be plugged into a grounded receptacle that is controlled by a switch. Before we begin, let's take a look at the waste disposer components to make sure none of the parts are missing or have been damaged in transport. Let's also take a look at the user manual to get a better idea of what's involved in the installation. Now we're ready to begin. Here are the essential tools we will need to complete this installation. Let's start by turning off the electrical power at the circuit breaker or fuse box. Now we will remove the existing plumbing. You will want to use a small tray or bucket to collect any remaining water in the pipes. Next, we will remove the strainer flange, along with some of the adjacent plumbing sections to make room for the new waste disposer. We will have to make sure to remove all remaining plumber's putty so that the mounting flange can seal properly. The mounting assembly comes pre-assembled. Please take note of how the parts are put together. To disassemble the components, loosen or remove the 3 bolts along with the snap ring. All the components can now be separated. We will now install the mounting flange into the sink. Place the sink flange along with the gasket seal into the sink opening. You may also use plumber's putty instead of the gasket to seal the flange. You can use duct tape or a heavy pot to keep the flange in place to make the installation of remaining components a little easier. Install the supporting plate and top supporting ring onto the sink flange below. Now install the ring into the groove of the sink flange. The ring can sometimes be difficult to install. You can use the supplied ring tool to make it a little easier, as described in the user manual. Once the components are in place, tighten down the assembly with the 3 bolts. They should be tightened evenly, and the mounting assembly should be securely fastened to the sink. Now inspect the assembly to make sure everything is properly seated before moving on. Now that the mounting flange has been installed, let's get the waste disposer ready. Start by assembling the elbow. Make sure the gasket is evenly seated around the elbow flange and bolt it down to the waste disposer. If you're connecting a dishwasher to the waste disposer, you'll have to knock out the dishwasher plug. A blunt instrument works best. Use the packaging materials to protect the housing of the waste disposer and the floor below. Make sure everything has been removed from the grinding chamber before moving on. If you're not connecting the dishwasher, then you can skip this step. Now we're ready to secure the disposer to the mounting flange. You'll want to make sure that the 3 tabs of the bottom supporting ring align with the 3 steps of the top supporting ring. You'll also want to make sure that the discharge elbow aligns with the plumbing once the disposer is secured. When everything looks good, check to make sure the cushion mount is properly seated in the waste disposer. Now lift and guide the disposer, making sure each of the 3 tabs engages the 3 step features of the top supporting ring. If the waste disposer fails to align with the plumbing, then disengage it. Turn the bottom supporting ring counterclockwise about 1/4 of a turn and attach it once again. Use a screwdriver for added leverage and turn the bottom supporting ring until it touches the top supporting ring. Now connect the elbow of the waste disposer to your plumbing. In some cases, the plumbing will have to be revised, depending on your setup. Consult a licensed plumber or your local building code if so required. Connect the dishwasher hose to the waste disposer if required and tighten the hose clamp. Once the disposer is connected to the plumbing, inspect and tighten all connections. Install the splash guard and the stopper into the sink. Pour some water into the sink and let it drain. Carefully inspect all connections for leaks to make sure everything is properly sealed. You may now plug the disposer into a grounded electrical outlet and turn the power on. Run the water again and switch the waste disposer on for about 15 seconds to make sure everything is operating correctly. Your new waste disposer is now ready to use. If you have any questions regarding this waste disposer or encounter any problems during the installation, please call us at the number below. We're here to help.